Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive.
All right.
You know, we always love tackling topics that you're really curious about.
Yeah.
And one that keeps popping up is how to eat to reduce inflammation.
For sure. It's such a hot topic these days, right?
Absolutely. So we asked you guys to send us some resources you've been checking out, and two really stood out.
Yeah. What do we get?
Okay, so we got the Anti-Inflammatory Diet ebook from the Anticancer Lifestyle Program.
Okay.
And then from the Canadian Digestive Health Foundation, or CDHF, we have their insights in the power of anti-inflammatory foods.
Awesome. Yeah. Both of those are really popular.
They are. So we're going to dive deep into these today,
Sounds good.
see what we can learn. And really, our mission is to extract the core truths about inflammation.
Okay.
You know, what is it really, how does it affect our well-being?
Right.
And the big one, the powerful role that our food choices can play.
It really does come back to food, doesn't
It
it?
really does in so many ways. So ready to jump in.
Let's do it.
Let's unpack this thing, right? So both of these resources are coming at it from slightly different angles.
Right.
You know, one has a broader kind of anti-cancer focus, and the other one's really honing in on digestive health.
Yeah. And I think that's really interesting because they both ultimately land on how crucial it is to understand and deal with inflammation.
Yeah.
Like right from the start, the Anti-Cancer Lifestyle Program ebook, they go right into the research connecting inflammation to our overall health.
Oh, yeah.
And they talk about the increased risks of some pretty big chronic illnesses,
Yeah.
cardiovascular disease, cancer. And they make it clear right away, this isn't just about, feeling a little bit under the weather. This is like long-term health we're talking about.
They're not messing around. They're like, this is the big picture. This is important.
Exactly. It's not a trend.
No, it's not going away.
Exactly.
And what I thought was really interesting is how the CDH, they kind of zoom in a little bit.
Yeah.
They focus on that connection between inflammation and our gut health.
Yeah, which makes sense coming from them.
Totally, yeah. And they point out that research into the link between our gut and our well-being is just exploding right now.
Yeah, it's like every day there's a new study.
There is. It's like, what's going on in there?
I know, it's fascinating.
So fascinating. Okay, so then they really emphasize that if you want a healthy gut, you've got to manage inflammation.
Makes sense.
Right. And this is where I thought it got really interesting.
Okay.
Because they make the point that chronic inflammation in the gut, it's not just a local problem.
Right. It's not just like, oh, my stomach hurts.
Yeah, it can actually spread and cause problems throughout your whole body.
Yeah, it's like a domino effect, right?
Exactly, like almost like a fire alarm going off in one room, but the whole house hears it.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
So the gut's clearly not just like a simple food processor.
Right.
It's more like a central command center.
That's a good way to put it.
The CDHF actually calls it our second brain.
Which is crazy when you think about it.
I know what is going on down there.
All right, like, is it thinking down there?
I know, like all those microbes, are they having little conversations?
For
You're like, hey, pass the fiber.
This oat bran is delicious.
Seriously, though, they dive into why the gut is so important.
Okay.
And it comes down to what's called the gut microbiota.
Right.
Those trillions of microorganisms living inside of us.
Yeah, I mean, we basically have a whole ecosystem in our gut.
We do. It's incredible. And they're doing so much. They're breaking down food, absorbing nutrients.
Yeah, they're busy.
They're busy little guys working hard, and they're supporting our overall health.
Essential workers.
They really are.
But like any good team, if they get out of balance, things can go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And the CDHF says that's when you start to see discomfort and, importantly, chronic inflammation.
Right. And so then the question is, what throws this delicate balance off?
Right. What messes with our gut buddies?
Exactly. Okay, so the CDHF, they list a few culprits.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, number one, a poor diet. Not surprising, right? But then they also mention stress.
Oh, yeah. Stress can mess with everything.
It can, and infections.
Right. Makes sense.
And this one's really interesting. Our own immune system can turn on itself in autoimmune responses.
Wow. So our bodies can actually attack our own gut.
Yeah, it's wild. And that inflammation in the gut isn't just some vague feeling.
Wow.
It can lead to some really specific digestive issues.
Like what kind?
Like irritable bowel syndrome or IBS.
Yep.
And inflammatory bowel disease, IBD.
Yeah, those are not fun.
Not fun at all.
And the CDHF, they don't stop there.
No.
They make it really clear that inflammation in the gut can have these ripple effects throughout the whole body.
Yeah, it's not just in your stomach.
No, it's connected to everything.
It really is. So they're saying gut inflammation is linked to allergies,
Really?
autoimmune diseases, even our mental well-being.
Wow, so it's mind and body.
It really is all connected.
That's incredible.
Okay, so we're starting to see the big picture here. Inflammation, especially in the gut. It's a major player in our overall health.
Right. But now the question is, what can we do about it?
Exactly. And the CDHF article, they talk about anti-inflammatory foods,
Right.
which I love because they don't frame it like some restrictive diet.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
It's more like a lifestyle shift.
I like that way better.
Me too. Way more achievable and sustainable.
Totally.
Okay, so what's the core principle here?
Okay, so the CDHF, they say prioritize whole unprocessed foods
Okay.
and no added sugar.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because those things actively reduce inflammation.
Especially in the gut.
Exactly. It's about choosing food that supports your body's natural balance.
I love that. And they give us a fantastic rundown of specific food categories.
All right, hit me with them.
Okay, first up, fruits and vegetables.
Always a good place to start.
They highlight berries, leafy greens, tomatoes, broccoli.
So basically all the good stuff.
All the good stuff. They're packed with vitamins and minerals.
Of course.
But the CDHF, they really emphasize those antioxidants that fight free radicals.
Oh, yeah.
Those are important.
And they also talk about phytonutrients.
Phytonutrients.
Which are basically like the plant's own defense system against stress.
Oh, wow.
So when we eat these colorful fruits and veggies, we're kind of borrowing their defenses.
That's cool.
Which helps us combat oxidative stress and reduce inflammation.
I like that, borrowing their defenses.
Good image.
It is. Okay, next up, high fiber whole grains.
Okay, so like what?
Barley, oats, bran.
Oh, so not all grains are created equal.
Exactly. Some are good, some are not so good.
So these are the good guys.
The good guys, and the CDHF says they're anti-inflammatory powerhouses.
Okay, why is that?
Okay, so the fiber feeds our good gut bacteria.
Okay, got to keep them happy.
Yeah, and they've also got antioxidants and essential nutrients.
Right, so it's like a multi-pronged attack on inflammation.
Exactly. They support overall health and even give our immune system a boost.
Love it.
Okay, now let's talk healthy fats.
Okay, one of my favorite topics.
I know, right? The CDHF calls out fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, tuna, sardines.
Okay, yeah, those are the classics.
They are, and they're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are potent anti-inflammatories.
Oh, yeah, omega-3s, those are the good guys.
They're essential.
They really are.
And they help our bodies produce molecules that actually work to reduce inflammation.
So it's like they're giving our bodies the tools to fight back.
Exactly. And then we've got nuts and seeds.
Okay, love those.
Almonds, walnuts, flax seeds, pecans, chia seeds.
Great for snacking.
So convenient, and they're just packed with healthy fats and antioxidants.
It's like a little power pack.
It is. And then we have olive oil.
Ah, the Mediterranean staple.
Specifically extra virgin olive oil.
Okay, so not just any olive oil.
Right. And the CDHF calls it a cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet.
And that diet is always getting praise for its health benefits.
It is, and for good reason.
Yeah. Why is olive oil so great?
It's full of monounsaturated fats and antioxidants, which we know fight inflammation.
Right. So even something we use every day in cooking can have a big impact on our health.
I think that's a really important takeaway.
It is.
Like, we can make these little changes that have a big effect.
Absolutely.
Okay, and finally, we've got to talk about herbs and spices.
Oh, yeah. Those are my secret weapon in the kitchen.
They're so good. We're talking turmeric, ginger, garlic, cinnamon.
So flavorful.
And the CDHF says they're not just for taste.
Oh, really?
They have well-documented anti-inflammatory properties.
Wow.
And people have used them for centuries to soothe digestive problems.
Like bloating and upset stomach.
Exactly. It's amazing how powerful these natural ingredients are.
It really is. You don't always need a fancy supplement.
You don't. Nature has provided us with so much good stuff.
That's for sure. Okay, so we've got our list of foods that help fight inflammation.
Right. But what about the other side of the coin?
The dark side.
The dark side, the foods that we should maybe be eating less of?
Right, because knowing what to avoid is just as important.
Absolutely. And the CDHF has a whole section on foods that cause inflammation.
Oh, okay, so what are the usual suspects?
Okay, so they say these foods are basically fuel for chronic inflammation, and they tend to be processed sugary, loaded with trans fats, and refined carbohydrates.
Yeah, the stuff that comes in boxes and bags.
Exactly. And their point is that our bodies aren't really designed to process these things very well.
Yeah, it's like they're not real food.
They're not, and the impact is not just like a little tummy ache.
Oh, no.
The CDHF says regular overconsumption of these inflammatory foods, it can lead to systemic inflammation.
Right, so it's not just in one spot, it's everywhere.
Everywhere, and that's linked to some serious health problems.
Like what?
Heart disease, obesity, autoimmune disorders.
Yeah, those are the big ones.
They are. So it's not just about feeling good in the moment.
Right.
It's about long-term health consequences.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's name names.
Right. Spill the tea.
Okay, first up, sugary and processed foods.
The usual suspects.
We're talking excessive sugar, high fructose corn syrup, processed snacks.
Yeah, it's like a constant sugar overload for our bodies.
It is, and then there are trans fats.
Those are sneaky.
They're hiding in fried foods, processed foods.
French fries, donuts, hot dogs.
The CDHF says we got to become label detectives.
Read the fine print.
Exactly, because those trans fats, they're linked to inflammation and heart disease.
Yeah, they're not worth it.
No, they're not. Okay, excessive red meat is another one.
Okay, so not all meat is bad.
Exactly. The CDHF says leaner cuts in moderation can be part of a balanced diet,
Right.
but consistently eating too much red meat, it's been linked to increased inflammation.
Okay, so moderation is key.
Moderation is key with everything.
I like that approach.
Okay, and then they mention margarine shortening and lard.
Oh, yeah, those are like the old school fats.
They are, and they're often high in hydrogenated and trans fats.
Right, which we know are bad news.
Bad news, and the CDHF explains that eating a lot of these fats can actually mess with how our cells function.
Interesting.
Yeah, it can disrupt our cell membranes, which leads to inflammation and disease.
Wow, so it's like they're messing with our bodies at a cellular level.
It is, and they suggest swapping them out for healthier options.
Like olive oil, avocado oil, flaxseed oil?
Exactly. Those have anti-inflammatory properties.
So it's an easy switch.
It is just got to make that conscious choice.
Totally. And then last but not least, sugary sodas and pops.
Oh man, those are tough to give up.
They are, but they're loaded with refined sugars and artificial additives.
But double whammy.
It's like they're designed to cause inflammation.
And the CDHF says they can contribute to weight gain, insulin resistance, and chronic inflammation.
So basically a recipe for disaster.
Pretty much.
All right, so we've got a good understanding of what to eat more of and what to eat less of.
Right. But let's focus on the positive.
Yeah, let's talk about the good stuff.
What are the benefits of consistently eating anti-inflammatory foods?
I'm ready to hear that.
The CDHF, they've got a whole section on this, and it's awesome.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, first up, you're going to have a more balanced gut microbiome.
Right, because we're feeding the good bacteria.
Exactly, and that's so important for good digestion, nutrient absorption, overall well-being.
It's like we're tending to our inner garden.
I love that. And of course, reduced inflammation overall.
Makes sense.
By eating these foods, we're actively fighting chronic inflammation throughout our bodies.
It's like we're giving our bodies a helping hand.
We are, and the CDHF, they remind us that chronic inflammation, it's a factor in so many health problems.
Yeah, it's like the root of all evil.
It really is so reducing, it is key.
For sure.
And when you have less inflammation, you just feel better.
Oh yeah, more energy, less pain.
Exactly, and the CDHF says a healthy gut, it also leads to a stronger immune system.
So we're less likely to get sick.
Exactly, it's like building up our defenses.
Love that. And they also mention weight management.
Oh.
Because these foods are more satiating.
Right, they keep us full longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they help regulate our appetite and metabolism.
So we're less likely to overeat.
Right. And that can help with weight loss or maintaining a healthy weight.
And this one might surprise you.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They talk about better mood.
Really?
Yeah. The CDHF says a healthy gut can actually have a positive impact on our mental well-being.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is, and they say it can even help with depression and anxiety.
That gut-brain connection is so powerful.
It really is. Okay, so before we wrap up, I want to switch gears for a second.
Okay, where are we going?
I want to bring in something from the Anti-Cancer Lifestyle Program ebook.
Okay, what do they have to say?
They included some really powerful quotes from people who have actually done their program.
Oh, cool.
And one really resonated with me. It said, "Everything else has been done to us. This is something we get to do for ourselves."
Wow, that's powerful.
It is. It's about taking control of our health.
Right, it's empowering.
Exactly. And they also included a quote from a doctor who recommends their program.
Oh, nice.
And the doctor said it's because it's evidence-based and focuses on positive pro-health living.
So it's not just some woo-woo stuff.
It's legit.
Good to know.
And then another person said that this kind of information about diet and lifestyle, it's just as important as choosing your doctor or your treatment plan.
Wow, so they're putting it on the same level as medical care. That's a big statement.
It is, and it really highlights how important food is.
Yeah, it's not just fuel, it's medicine.
Exactly.
So basically what we're hearing is that we have the power to influence our own health.
Absolutely. We're not just passive bystanders.
Right, we can make choices every day that have a huge impact.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's the key takeaway.
I'm ready.
You have the power to influence inflammation and your overall health through the food you choose to eat.
That's a great takeaway.
It's not about deprivation. It's not about some crazy diet.
Right.
It's about nourishing your body with whole anti-inflammatory foods.
And being mindful of the foods that cause inflammation.
Exactly. And making gradual, sustainable changes.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
Yes.
So next time you're planning a meal or heading to the grocery store,
Yes.
think about what we've talked about today.
Right.
Think about adding in more fruits and vegetables, fiber-rich grains, healthy fats, herbs and spices.
And maybe cutting back on the processed stuff.
Yeah.
The sugary drinks, the excess red meat.
Exactly. You don't have to be perfect. Just make those small changes.
They really do add up over time.
They do. And this leads us to our final thought.
Okay. I'm all ears.
We've learned that gut health is so closely linked to overall well-being.
Right. It's all connected.
So what one small but meaningful change can you make in your diet to create a more balanced and resilient system?
Yeah. What one thing can you do starting today?
That's the question to ponder.
Food for thought.
Literally food for thought. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
See you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.